And we are live. Bring us in, Drew. Bring us in.
Welcome. Hey, welcome, guys. Turning Face Podcast. What is this? 4, I think, but it's officially the Wrestlemania wrap-up. Two exciting nights, I thought. What did you think of Wrestlemania, Tommy?
I set the expectations low, given that it was going to be.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we really did. But given it was going to be like a no crowd, and whatnot, and I would say it exceeded those expectations, but obviously very underwhelming given it's a WrestleMania. But I was like kind of impressed. I mean, there were some good things for sure.
Yeah, I think they did some really cool things. I think I don't know if we talked about it on the prior podcast, but with all things considered, I think they had to do some stuff that was going to make it a little bit different rather than just have a night of empty arena matches and just make them really good matches,
Yeah.
It would have been great I would have been okay with just a bunch of really good matches, but I'm glad that they did some stuff that, like I said, I think it needed to be done, though, like the Boneyard match and the Firefly Funhouse match. And I think that, like I said, they had to do some stuff like that because they knew that a night full of just empty arena matches wasn't going to be good enough.
Yeah.
And even like the Bobby Lashley, Aleister Black match, there was no build up for it. So it was just like, to throw a random match in there, it was like that was a little strange. But I mean, there's a reason for that. And the reason for that was because Bobby Lashley was not available because he was didn't want to. I guess he was. I don't know if he was quarantining himself, like self-quarantining. I don't know if he was feeling sick or if he just didn't want to travel that much to do shows. But there was practically no build up for that match. So it was just, kind of random. And then, I mean, for the most part, everything else had a build up, but yeah. So I liked it. I'd say for what it's worth, I liked it. Obviously, I would like it a lot more if it were WrestleMania with 90,000 screaming fans. But, there was just some things. There were just a few things that I wish there was a crowd there for because it would have got a huge pop,
I agree. Was it worth the $60-some? No, in my opinion. But in hindsight, I guess I'm glad I watched it because there was some cool moments. But like you said, it just obviously knowing what WrestleMania is like, it is a bummer knowing how, like you said, how much of pop stuff could have gotten and stuff like that. But
yeah, well, and there's also, and this is the last thing I'll say about it, that there's also like a fine balance. I think we talked about it as well a little bit where it was like you feel like Vince is kind of an asshole for still trying to put on a show,
right,
knowing that everything else is canceled. But, I mean, I'm glad we still got something, but from a perspective of, trying to take your mind off of all the crap going on in the world right now. And, we're at a point where we're preaching social distancing and we're preaching, all this stuff. But I don't know. I mean, I was happy to be entertained for 2 nights and kind of forget about everything, so.
No, I will say an update on my pro wrestling gambling addiction. I will give you the result.
Oh, no.
So let's see. The odds are very skewed in the pro wrestling betting. I think because they know who's gonna win for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had 12 bets and I won 8 of them.
Oh shoot!
Yeah.
Is that good? I mean, I don't know anything about gambling.
So it's good, but the reason it's not good is because the ones that I lost like a 25. It's like when I bet and won, I was betting let's say 25 to win 12. And then when I lost, it was also betting 25, so it was just a straight loss of 25. So I ended up breaking even just because, I won more than I lost, but not enough to win my money back. So I pretty much broke even. I put $295 on the line, and I broke even. So could have been bad.
Okay.
Could have been a lot better. Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
I bet on every single match. So I'll tell you a couple interesting real quick because it was kind of interesting to see what kind of bets they had. But there was 2 Gronk ones that were kind of interesting. One, which they haven't really posted the results because for whatever reason I haven't gotten my money that I am owed. But one was, will Gronk have an official match at WrestleMania? I hammered the under, which was no, and I bet like 25 because I knew it was going to be like a non, like a 24/7 title non-sanctioned match or whatever.
Yeah.
I just knew it, and so I bet big on that and won, but I didn't receive the money for that. The other Gronk bet, and I'm curious your thoughts on what you think this was, but it was a Gronk bet, and it said, this is all it said. It said, will Gronk win the WWE or Universal Championship? That's all it said. And the odds were very skewed. It was like if you bet yes, you were getting like no money. If you bet the under, then you get a ton of money. So I bet no, not knowing if it was like a one-day bet, a year-long bet, like a lifelong bet. So I don't know what it is, but I hammered him not winning the title. And at some point I would think I'm going to be owed a lot of money, but
yeah. I would think if they were putting that bet up, have you checked it again? Like, have you checked to see if that bet's still up?
Yeah, it's still up, but the results aren't like, but the interesting thing is both Gronk bets like didn't go through. Like it shows that I bet them, but I haven't received or lost any money. And so I still don't know. What's your thoughts? You think, I mean, while we're talking about it, you think Gronk will ever win the WWE Universal title?
Negative.
And that's the thing, bro. It's like I was so surprised to see that he was like negative 1,000 that he would. Yeah. I was like, I'm hammering the under. But anyway, so that's
let's just say this. I really hope that he doesn't.
Yeah.
I hope you win a lot of money on that bet.
I hope I do too. So yeah, we'll keep updated on my addiction, but
yeah. No, that's good. That's good for the people out there that want to get into betting for sure. I am the world's worst gambler, so I don't bet. So, bro, but
I will say this, man. Like, especially on an event like WrestleMania, that could have been a lot better. Like it was good. I'm just saying, like, granted, like normal WrestleMania is fantastic, but like it gave me another sense of, and I'm only betting like $25, so it's not like I'm breaking the bank, and it gives me another sense of like, more entertainment because I'm more invested in it. So that part was nice. I will say.
Yeah. That. Yeah, I think if you came to me and said, hey, guess what? You're not going to have any fans in the arena for WrestleMania, and this is what you get. I think they did the best they could with what they were given. So I can't be mad at them for that. It took our minds off of all the crap going on for a few nights, and it was good. I mean, the performances were good.
Yeah.
Again, it would have been a lot better if there was a crowd there to pop for those performances. But, you could hear the "This is awesome" chants in your head because there were some really good matches for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, you want to just get right into them?
Yeah. So Saturday evening, which was night 1 of our 2-night extravaganza, Cesaro defeated Drew Gulak.
Did you watch the before ones? I didn't see.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there was one match each on the pre-shows.
Gotcha.
So the pre-shows, the night 1 pre-shows were night one. It was Cesaro and Gulak, and Cesaro defeated Gulak. No interference from anyone, which is rare these days with Cesaro and Gulak. And then night 2 was Liv Morgan beat Natalya.
Did hear about that. Okay, I didn't see him though, but
yeah. So, yeah, it was weird because I thought they were gonna try and give Liv Morgan a push because Natalya's like kind of a jobber that the people that they're trying to push, they're trying to get over. She's one of those stepping stones on their way, but no, because I don't know. I mean, she beat Natalya, and then last night she lost to Asuka in singles competition. So
no, I don't know. I thought like I knew that they should bring Asuka back up because she's had some big losses recently. But at the same time, I was like, oh shit, they're pushing Liv Morgan. So I was kind of surprised to see her lose, but it makes sense. Keep Asuka, rolling.
Yeah.
She's popular.
Yeah, like I said, I thought they were going to give her a push too, but I guess not. I mean, it still could be a push. Like, putting her in a match with Asuka is definitely
That's true. That's a good point.
a step up. So, I mean,
Good point.
it's kind of like, even though she lost, her stock still went up because she had a good match with Asuka for sure. So,
Agreed. No, agreed.
so yeah. And then speaking of Asuka, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross became 2-time women's tag champions,
Won that bet. Thank
defeating
you.
the Kabuki Warriors, Kairi Sane and Asuka. Dude, I love Nikki Cross.
She's great.
She's a maniac. She's so much fun to watch. There was one point in the match where she was wearing like a vest, and then she just like got so hype and she like ripped the vest open and was like screaming. And she had like a shirt on underneath it, but she was just like, dude,
yes,
she's so crazy. And I'm glad that they put. I mean, I like the Kabuki Warriors. They're getting a little tired, to be honest with you, though. Like, I think they're. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what your opinion is on them, but I think there's only so far you can go with them, and I think they realize that. And I think Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss have a little more.
Yeah.
They have a little more entertainment value to them than Asuka and Kairi Sane. I mean, Kairi Sane barely talks.
Yeah.
And then Asuka talks, but we don't know what the fuck she's saying. So, and I'm not saying that because, like, I'm like, oh, she's talking Japanese. Like, I don't know what she's saying. Like, she's just like, she's just making sounds with her face, and then like nobody knows. Like, it was kind of like when we went to Raw, and she was just like standing in the ring for 3 minutes, and we're like, what are you saying? Like,
yeah.
So it's just like, I mean, I get it. Like, it's kind of kooky, like funny, like quirky funny, but it's just like, okay. So,
yeah, I think it was a good time for a change of those titles, but they're still not going to, I mean, both tag team titles, they're still not going to do much with the tag team divisions. So, that match was neither here nor there. I don't think it had any.
It was a good match, though. It was a good match.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. They like I said, all the matches were really good. There wasn't a match where I was like bored,
Yeah.
So, I'll tell you, there was one, but I'll talk to you about that in a little bit.
Okay, I could probably.
And I think you'll be surprised.
Okay.
So, all right, cool. And then Elias defeated King Corbin, which
I was surprised with.
Yeah. Do you think they're trying to make an Elias push, or do you think that was just?
They should be. I like Elias because he's a bracelet guy too. We got a similar look there. I know you're a big Elias guy. He's a fucking megastar. I mean, they should push him to the moon. I mean, Elias is fantastic. He's charismatic. He's good in the ring. He's got a great look, good entrance, talented. Like, he's phenomenal. I don't like him necessarily winning there. Him and Corbin had like a weird kind of deal. I don't like him beating Corbin cleanly. Correct me if I'm wrong. He did beat him cleanly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I just think Corbin's like your big heel, and I don't love that you
he loses too much.
He loses too much. He has real heat, and then he loses too much. I really thought he was gonna win, or I thought Gronk was gonna interfere. But yeah, I mean, Elias, I think they should. I mean, after that win, push him to the freaking moon. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, dude. Okay, so first of all, Elias. Oh shit. For everybody listening, I'm watching Impact right now, and I guess she's going by. I don't know what she's going by now, but she was in the WWE as Emma. I don't know if you remember her, but she's signed with Impact now. So she went by Emma in WWE. So anyway, yeah, no, I like Elias. It was crazy. It was crazy because before the match started, Elias smashed his guitar on Baron Corbin's back, and I don't know if it was particularly brutal, that one was like particularly a rough one, or like if you just don't notice it because there's no crowd and you can hear it. But yeah, that I was like, Jesus, like he smashed the guitar on his back.
Yeah.
No, I love Elias. Like I said, I like Elias. I like Elias because he's kind of like smug and he has like that swagger to him.
Yeah.
And I think he's got it, if you know, whatever it is in the WWE, I think he's got it. And he just needs I think he just needs a push. And I will say this though, a lot of Elias, I don't know, man. See, I like him as a face, but I think his thing is better as a heel though. Because remember when he was a heel and not having a crowd is pretty detrimental to him as a heel, because he used to come out and insult the crowd.
Right.
And he would like sing a song insulting like whatever city he was in.
Yeah.
So I think that's better. I mean, he could do that as a face, I guess, but I think it's more effective as a heel when he comes out and like insults Pittsburgh or Philly or wherever he is. So
I can see that for sure. I think, to be honest, I think he's great either way.
yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of his. I actually do like the way they're pushing him face right now.
Yeah.
I think they kind of missed the ball on him the first time he was face, but they could potentially pull it off again. So I'm excited to take him.
Yeah. So also, quick interjection: the main event tonight for Impact Wrestling is Eddie Edwards and Tessa Blanchard versus the North for the Impact Tag Team titles.
Oh, really?
So Tessa Blanchard has the opportunity to become champ here.
Everyone's always like, shut the fuck up. We don't care about Impact. No, I'm just kidding. I like Impact.
Like, give a shit.
I mean, it's wrestling, and I enjoy wrestling. So.
No, I've watched it 3 times now, and I've liked it all 3 times. I haven't had a bad thing to say about it. So the only bad thing I would have to say about it is they did a promo that was a little bit bizarre last week.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was with Jessica Havoc, and it was just like they stabbed a guy or something, and it was like just pretty bizarre. But that's the only complaint I had. It was like a little bit hokey, but no, it was good. And then last week's main event was Ethan Page and Tessa Blanchard, so that was good. Goes back to talking about the intergender matches, which was a great match. So, all right. Our next match of night 1 was Becky Lynch defeating Shayna Baszler. She retains the Raw Women's title, and it was a good match. That one I will say I was a little bit bored in that match.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, yeah, I thought it ended way too early. I mean, being honest, I thought that I think that you devalue Shayna when you beat her that early. And also just they had a great build up, dude. And it kind of just like it was a little underwhelming. I think the match just should have gone longer straight up. I don't know.
Well, I think they kind of screwed not Bailey, sorry. I think they kind of screwed Becky there too, because Becky has been a dominant champ, right? And the way that they chose to give her the win was kind of like sneaky, and like she like just pulled it off. Like, I don't know. I didn't like that, especially since she's been the champ for now a year. And today marks a year that she's been the Raw Women's Champion. And like, I don't know. I just think you devalue her when you make a finish like that, when it's like a sneaky, Shayna Baszler made a mistake, and I don't know. I just think it should have been I think it could have been a better finish, but
no, I completely agree. And I think hold on, give me 1 second. Okay. Yeah, I completely agree. I think that because last WrestleMania she beat Ronda in a very controversial match, and it was kind of like one of those sneaky pins. It was a little wonky, and I think that she was definitely ready for like a big time legit like win.
Yeah.
Dude, I completely agree with you there. I think they did kind of screw her over. But it sounds like their rivalry is not going to be over. Um, it's
Yeah.
inevitable that Shayna, or I should say this, it's inevitable that Becky loses the title sooner than later, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And there's really nothing left for her as champion. I think that the move is to put it on Shayna. I thought the move was to put it on her at WrestleMania, but I think she's a little too raw for that right now. I think like a little too green, as far as being over and stuff like that. But yeah, I think the moves to take it off Becky, kind of have her chase the title again. So don't love that she won, especially because I bet against her. But I understand like you get her a big time win, but now I think it's time like going forward that she'll lose sooner than later.
Yeah. Yeah, and then again, it just continues to piss me off when they go Shayna or the cage fighter. I'm like, dude, give it up. Like, like, come on, just stop. So, yeah. All right, so Becky retains, and then I thought her entrance was cool. She keeps coming in on that Mack truck. I like that.
Uh-oh, I lost you for a second. Say it again?
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes. You were saying she comes out.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, she comes out in like that on that Mack truck.
Yeah.
How she comes in on like that big 18-wheeler. I think that's cool.
I feel like, man, that's
that's
something we missed out a lot on with WrestleMania this year. Some of the big entrances, like Undertaker on a bike this year, probably Becky on that big man tractor trailer thingy, whatever.
Yeah, it's very Stone Cold. That's why I like it. So, yeah, but yeah, and then so Sami Zayn defeated Daniel Bryan to retain the Intercontinental title. I had a lot of fun with that match because it was I was making fun of Sami Zayn the whole time. I think I put up on the Instagram I put up on the Instagram like apparently Sami Zayn hasn't heard about quarantine haircuts yet or something like that.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I like what he's doing. I don't like Sami Zayn. Like I think I get tired of listening to him talk, but I think his little shtick in the ring is funny when he's like,
yeah.
So
it was interesting to see him get a clean win after. I mean, the dude legit hasn't wrestled in like months. Like even when he won the title, he didn't wrestle. He just pinned Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
And so it was interesting seeing a guy that hasn't wrestled in a while get a big win over DB. So especially after he oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
Especially after he mentioned AEW live on air, which was fucking hilarious. Do you remember that?
No, when did he do that?
Oh, dude, I have to send you the video. I think they cut it out of like the final cut of Raw, but he was in this chair with Corey Graves answering questions from the crowd, and dude, the clip is so funny. He just grills the crowd, like just grills them on all their responses. He's like, and then he goes, "You guys are asking me such stupid questions. You could ask me about anything. You could ask me about my love life. You could ask me about AEW," and then he goes. And like people were like, "Oh, it was nuts." I'll send you the clip, but yeah, he's
funny.
I was surprised they let him. I thought he was gonna have a short leash after that, but yeah.
Yeah. So he's still the IC champion. I think that goes on for a while because he's got the Cesaro and Shinsuke situation happening. I think they're gonna play that up for a long time. He's just going to keep winning with the help of Cesaro and Shinsuke. I think they're going to play that for a while. So
I don't hate it. It's fine.
No, I think they're all heels. Like it's a good heel situation. Like like I said, he's doing his job because I hate listening to him talk. You know?
Yeah, it's so weird. It's so interesting looking at the WWE and like. The fact that they put Sammy, Cesaro, and Shinsuke, and in my opinion, Cesaro and Shinsuke are the most underutilized talent in WWE. I think they're extremely talented. I actually like not even the fact that they're like a little, faction right now, but I think that they're legit the most underrated and appreciated wrestlers in WWE, and it's so interesting that they put them behind Sammy. I don't know. I'm just thinking here, and Sammy used to be huge in NXT, so it's just me thinking. Like,
Yeah.
I think what it comes down to is the fact that they have so much talent that they don't even know what to do with, and they screw them. But whatever.
Yeah. Well, and it was actually I forgot in the when in the Cesaro Drew Gulak match, the way that match finished was so Drew Gulak was like working on Cesaro's like right arm the whole match, just really focusing on his arm, and then Cesaro tried to pick him up and do like a torture rack.
Oh yeah.
And his arm was messed up, so Cesaro just like started spinning in a circle and did like a helicopter with no hands, and then just kind of like dipped his shoulder, and like Drew Gulak fell off, and then he pinned him and won the match. It was pretty funny.
Hey, on that note, I got a question for you. What's your thoughts in general on that idea of like kind of isolating a body part? It's kind of like that old school heel like idea of like, just target in on one body part. What's your thoughts on that? Like when you watch it, do you like that? Like, what's your thoughts?
I like watching wrestlers work. You know what I mean? And I like watching like how creative they can be. Like for instance, in the yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Like, I think as long as they're diverse with what they do to focus on one body part,
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
in Drew Gulak's case, he has an arsenal of different stuff. I mean, he's a great wrestler, so he's able to. He was able to use many different holds and attacks to
Right.
to accomplish that. But yeah, I mean, I think if like you just keep arm barring, and then you're like, oh, his arm's messed up, and then you like go for another arm bar, and you're like, oh, he's arm barring him again.
Right.
It's like you're like, all right, like. But yeah, I think if they're diverse in what they're doing to do that, to accomplish that goal, then I don't have a problem with it. But yeah, so
No, I
yeah, I
agree.
like it.
I was just curious.
Yeah, yeah, because you see that a lot, right? I mean, you see like a lot of guys do that, and a lot of guys and girls do that, and yeah, I think like I said, I think as long as they're diverse, it makes sense to me, So
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's a good point.
especially like I think it's even more. Um, it makes even more sense like if they have a finisher that involves that body part.
Right.
So, and there's another match on night 2 that involves that, but we'll talk about that when it comes up.
Cool.
But
Cool.
so yeah, and then originally, so this match got switched like last minute. I mean, I think we knew about it in the last podcast, but
Yeah.
the John Morrison, Kofi Kingston, and Jimmy Uso ladder match, that match was crazy.
Dude, that match was fantastic.
Yeah, that was a great match. I think I told you this, but my favorite dude, John Morrison, that guy is unbelievable.
Yeah.
He did some. I mean, Kofi too. Kofi did that. Kofi pulled off that Hurricane Rana from the ladder. He jumped and got him. Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah, fantastic match. Probably my favorite match of the first night.
Yeah.
I
And
know.
then
Favorite
yeah.
like match. But
Did you see when John Morrison did like that? It was like kind of like a Starship Pain, but it was like a corkscrew. Oh my god,
that was nuts. He had
crazy.
0 clearance, and he still managed to do like a 3, like a 280. I mean, it was...
and he landed like, oh man, it's so great. That was so awesome.
It just makes me like think, man, if that was a tag team, like if you had that times 2 is basically what the match would have been. But still, that was a fantastic match. Interesting that they still. What was your thoughts on them still making it for the title? I mean, I loved it. I loved the way it finished.
I I think there's like a bunch of there's matches sometimes where like I can't see why not. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I
like,
agree.
I still, man, I my jaw was on the floor when he tight-roped from turnbuckle to turnbuckle and
Dude,
then hit a Spanish fly. I was like, what
that was
the hell?
unreal.
I was
He
like,
man,
I
it's
was like,
cool.
John Morrison just put on for that match. That was
Dead, bro.
incredible.
And
Amazing.
the finish was great. What was your thoughts on the finish, dude? I love the way it ended.
I did too. I thought it was really funny. I
Yeah.
mean, as soon as they got up to the top rope or as soon as they got up to the top of the ladder and all three of them grabbed it, and then I saw Morrison. I was like, he's gonna pull the belts off. I
Yeah.
was like, I know. It was like kind of choreographed, like you kind of already knew what was gonna happen. But because if you looked at it, you're like, there's no way Jimmy Uso's getting them. There's no way Kofi's getting them.
Right. No,
So
that was like the match, probably of all of them, other than maybe like one or two more that you knew Morrison was going to win.
mm-hmm.
And of course, that's one of the 3 matches they didn't let you bet on, which I thought was funny. But
yeah, yeah, that was So that was a good match, and then I was kind of confused at first too. So I was like, wait, so who wins? And then they're like, well, Morrison's got the titles. I was like, oh,
yeah,
I guess Morrison wins.
yeah, that was funny.
So yeah, but yeah, I think either way that match worked either way. It was kind of obviously like you look at it and you're like, well, there's no tag teams out there, so how can these be for the tag team titles? But yeah, that match was fine. I didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then this is probably not my favorite part of the night, but it was close. It was pretty close. Was Mojo winning the 24/7 title? That was great. Again, it goes back. It goes back to the the essence of the 24/7 title for me. It's like
Yeah.
that's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be Riddick Moss squashing people.
No, it's supposed to be your comic relief in between
Yeah.
matches with some guys who have big personalities, which I love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what's great is obviously we love I love when R-Truth is involved in that situation because he's funny. He's so funny.
Right.
Like he came out and he was like thinking he was safe and he had a place to hide and he was trying to find a place to hide. And then Mojo and Gronk were like, well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like that they're putting Gronk in that situation too, because I think by nature Gronk is a little bit goofy.
Right.
And he's funny and people laugh at him. So I think having him and R-Truth in Mojo in that whole mix adds a seriousness of the 24/7 title. You know, they're legitimately vying for the title.
Yeah.
But it's in such a funny way though, and it's like I love that.
No, yeah, I thought they executed well on that. I enjoyed that.
They're gonna be able to come up with a lot of creative ways for those guys to go back and forth taking that title off of each other. I think.
Yeah.
At least I hope. I hope they do. So,
Yeah, I think so. No, I definitely think so. Yeah.
yeah. So that was great. And then, so this was probably my favorite match of the night.
Oh, by far. What am I? Of course.
Because I am a big Kevin Owens guy. I love Kevin Owens.
Love him.
I wore my Kevin Owens shirt night one.
Oh yeah.
I wore my Just Keep Fighting shirt night one, and then I wore my Heavy Machinery shirt night two.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, the Kevin Owens Seth Rollins match was great. I think Seth Rollins is another guy that is getting legitimate heat. You know, he's like
yes.
Yeah, so he's become a good heel because, like I said, I feel like he's getting legit heat, and that was such an awesome match.
So amazing. I think it's interesting because Seth always says how he doesn't like being a heel. He does his best work as a heel. It's not even close, bro.
100%.
No one gets heat like him, and no one. I mean, no one puts up really good rivalries like him when he goes against a face. But yeah, bro, KO he's the guy right now. Push that dude. He's the fucking guy.
He's a fat guy in a t-shirt, man. That's why I love him.
He's everybody can relate to Kevin Owens, dude.
Yeah.
He's the best on the mic in pro wrestling, aside of I should have just said in WWE. He's the best in WWE on the mic, period. and he can do all the moves. He's charismatic, bro. I just love KO.
He's so
man.
good. Yeah, he's the man. And I was watching. I said fat guy in a t-shirt because I was watching. I can't remember what I was watching. Oh, it was this show on Vice called The Wrestlers, and it's just a show about, just about different wrestling around the world. And there was one episode with MVP. You remember MVP? Oh, we saw Edge, freaking paralyze him at Raw that night. One episode was about MVP and his career and like what he's doing now. And he was at a gym or something talking to some up and coming wrestlers that were training, and he was stressing the importance of being charismatic and being good on the mic and not being boring.
Yeah.
And he was talking about Kevin Owens, and he was like, "Look, Kevin Owens, fat guy in a t-shirt, can talk on the mic like his life depends on it."
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So like that's why I just thought it was funny. He's a fat guy in a t-shirt.
Fat guy t-shirt. Yeah, man. He's the real deal. I mean, dude, when he was scaling to the top, I mean, that was nuts, dude. That elbow drop from hell.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Oh my god. Dude, I screamed when that happened. I was like, whoa! I was like, no way.
Man.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but this has been a great match, by the way. Tessa Blanchard and Eddie Edwards versus the North.
Really?
Been an awesome match so far, yeah. Tessa Blanchard is tough as fuck, man. But yeah, that was an incredible match. Yeah, the Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins match was my favorite match, just because I think Kevin Owens put on the best performance of the night, and I was pissed when I thought it was about to end in a disqualification.
Oh, right.
Just because I was like, this isn't the time. This isn't the time to continue the rivalry. Like, I think it's been a good rivalry so far, and I just think that it needs to culminate here and now.
Yeah.
And that's why at first I thought that's how the match was legit gonna end, when he hit him with the bell.
Right.
And I was like, fuck this, come on. But so then it continued. Yeah, that was wild. That was a great match.
Yeah, unpredictable. And that's what I was thinking. Like, I remember right after that DQ happened in my head, or I remember I was actually watching it with a friend. And I said to him, I was like, oh, I really like KO winning this match. I think that there's a lot more pros of him winning than Seth. Like, Seth is like, KO's been screwed over every WrestleMania. He's doing for a big moment. And I was like, man, like, I can see how they don't want to devalue Seth with the loss because WrestleMania is his thing. But I was like, man, KO needs this win. And they just they delivered, bro. It was a good match.
For sure. Yeah, I was happy. Like I said, I'm a big KO guy. And so I was happy that he won and got. Yeah. That was like a hell of a WrestleMania moment for sure, right there.
It was, man. He's by far my favorite on the main roster. I mean, he's primed. I wish they'd push him for the title, man.
Yeah. Well, what did he have? The Universal? Did he have the Universal title, or did he have the WWE Championship? Because he had it, right?
He did. I don't remember which one, but
I'm pretty sure it was the. I think it was the WWE. I think it was the. I think it was the Universal title, because I remember it was the red one when they had the red and the black one.
Right. I think yeah.
So, yeah, great match. Really, really good match.
I'm excited to see what they do with both Seth and Kevin.
Yeah.
So it'll be cool, man. But great match, really great.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. And now, man, Braun Strowman. Let's just fucking say it and move on, so we don't have to talk. So we don't have to talk about it. So Braun Strowman defeats Goldberg to become Universal Champion. I was just really pissed that, again, they went from some of the most creative writing that they've ever done to the least creative writing you've ever seen in your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So it was like spear, go for the jackhammer, fuck the jackhammer up, slam. That's it.
I mean, bro, here's the thing.
What?
Did you expect anything different?
No.
I know me and you both.
Absolutely right.
I mean, like, I know me and you both hoped and thought, like, there's no way in their right mind that they can do the same exact thing. Bro, I remember watching this shit, and I was like to my buddy who knows nothing about wrestling really except from watching a couple of shows with me. I was like, watch, bro. I was like, he's going to spear him. The first move. He speared him. And then once he got in the corner, I was like, 2 more spears. He goes for the pin. And then he does, and I was literally like, he doesn't get it. He's going to go for the jackhammer. Like, dude. That was so bad, bro. It was so bad. I'm not over it. If I ever see Goldberg in a WWE ring again, dude, I'm never, ever watching that shit ever again. I'm fucking – I'm so – I mean, like, bro, we just saw that match.
Yeah.
Dog.
Yeah. I agree, man. I agree.
And now you're making fucking –
I think that's –
Go ahead.
I mean, I think that's all that needs to be said about it. Just so you know, the North just beat Tessa Blanchard and Eddie Edwards to retain the titles. That was a fucking match, though. That was a great match. Damn, Tessa Blanchard kind of like just turned her back on Eddie Edwards. She was kind of like getting a little bit of momentum, and then Eddie Edwards was looking for the tag, and she didn't tag him in, and then the North hit their finisher on her.
The last thing I'll say, because I don't want to waste my breath on these, but the last thing I'll say is it makes the Fiend look like a fucking joke, bro. Because like, I mean, Braun kicked out of the same shit that beat the Fiend, and like, now is Braun like bigger and better than the Fiend because he could beat Goldberg? Like, it's just stupid, man. It's just stupid. If they ever try to make another spear versus spear match and try to put the title back on Goldberg or Roman or whatever, but that's all I gotta say. I mean, I think we can agree that was the worst match of the first night.
Yeah, it was really bad, which is a shame because it was for the title.
I
think that match was doomed. That match was doomed from the start, though. Like, how are you gonna make that a good match? You know,
it's true. I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Like, did you expect anything less? Not really, but. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that was dog shit. And then all right, so the final event of the evening is the Boneyard match.
Boneyard.
I thought it was interesting. Something that I learned this week too was that the dialogue was not scripted.
I heard that. That was cool.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Which is cool. Yeah. So the dialogue for that match was not scripted, which is pretty impressive based on how long they went and like how much they were talking.
Yeah, and like looking back on it, looking back on their dialogue, it did seem very raw. Like it didn't seem like scripted, you know what I mean? And I can see it.
Yeah. It didn't seem like somebody wrote it. It just seemed like it was natural.
Right.
My favorite part was when Undertaker was like, "What's my wife's name? What's my wife's name?"
Yeah, man.
What? What? I'm too old. How old am I?
Yeah, and we started texting during the middle of it. Well, actually, I guess maybe it was at the end. And I was like, well, I said, what did you think of the Undertaker AJ Styles movie? Yeah. And I think that's what it was. Like, I just think you have to accept the fact that like it was like a cinematic movie. Like, appreciate it as not wrestling, but like appreciate that as like the cinema that was like sports entertainment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I will not lie to you. The Harley Davidson biker Undertaker's not my favorite, but I feel like it's fine. It's fine. Mean, it didn't really take away from the match or the event, so that was fine.
I just think like the look of Undertaker when he came out and just looked like, bro, remember he looked like shit when he came out and we were just like, oh, bro, we don't want to see him wrestle. Like, in my opinion, like the Boneyard match, like in him being like the American Gangster or whatever, the biker look or whatever, to me that did him so much more justice than if he were to come out in the Undertaker gimmick. Like I think that match was gold because he had that gimmick, but I agree that like I know, and especially I know that you love that that Undertaker, like the boom Undertaker. So, yeah,
I'm
I
the
feel
dead
you
man.
on.
Yeah, I like the
Yeah,
dead man.
yeah, you like the dead man.
But no, I don't. It's fine. It's what. Yeah, I didn't dwell on it and be like, man, I can't believe it. But
Right.
you
No,
know,
it's a fair point
just
though. I mean,
Sturgis Bike Rally Undertaker's not my favorite.
yeah, fair, man.
So, but yeah, so that's night one. Overall, I give night one a C. I give it a C.
I agree. See,
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah. So yeah, C works for me. And then yes, um, so night two, we talked about this. Talked about this earlier. Liv Morgan defeated Natalia. Which, yeah, just unfortunately Natalia has become a bit of a jobber, but
yeah,
but Liv Morgan, I mean, she's really good. I liked her. I like her in the ring, and like we said, she got a big win at WrestleMania. That was the pre-show, and then she lost to Asuka last night, which again still brings her stock. I think it's still right. Her stock still rises.
I agree.
I'm not mad at that.
No.
So then let's talk about this one, and I know we're gonna break out the tissues for you, Tommy.
Yeah, we are. There's a lot to talk about and unpack with this match, especially given what we texted about earlier.
Yeah.
I think that plays in, but let's go ahead, lay it out, and we'll.
I'll
cry, you talk.
So for anybody that doesn't know, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair defeated Rhea Ripley to become the NXT Women's Champion. Dude, first of all, Charlotte's robe was excellent.
Electric.
And then Rhea Ripley's gear was also awesome.
Dude, that was probably my favorite gear I've ever seen a girl wear.
Yeah, I liked it because it was it kind of looked like for anybody that ever watched Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of Vegeta.
Yo, that's so funny that I knew what you were gonna say. That's
with
great.
the blue and white with the white boots. So
True.
But and then there's a little bit of that limb targeting, like you said, in that match as well. She was targeting Rhea Ripley's knee. I think again, like we said though, I think if you have a finisher, which Charlotte Flair does, with the figure 4, and then she turns into the figure 8, I guess she calls it. If you have a finisher that targets the knee, I think that tells a story.
It's a great point.
So, which it does. So, excuse me. But yeah. So again, for those of you that don't know, we found out today that the reason we were I think everybody was wondering why they took the title off of Rhea Ripley and gave it to Charlotte Flair in particular. I think Charlotte Flair needs to stay relevant, but they have two storylines going on with the other women's titles.
Right.
I think Charlotte Flair is too big of a star not to stay relevant, but apparently Rhea Ripley is having some work visa issues. So that could potentially contribute to the reason why they took the title off of her.
Yeah.
So she had to fly back to Australia yesterday and sort that out. And they don't know, because of the global pandemic, they don't know how long it's going to be for that process, because she had to go back to Australia to start to renew her visa, and they don't know how long the process is going to take. So she was not involved in any tapings for NXT. So
yeah, bro, I think that I really, really think that the initial plan was to keep the title on Rhea Ripley and put NXT over on the main roster / Charlotte Flair. I really think that was in the main plans. I think that when you texted me that earlier, I was like, that's why. I think I just don't think there's any other way you take the title off of her unless you find that out. I think that's the reason. I think that knowing that her plans are uncertain, I just think that's what it came down to. I could be wrong, but it just makes too much sense to it doesn't make any sense to take the title off of her. Especially like you said, to put it on Charlotte. I think that has to have something to do with it.
Yeah, and especially because Rhea Ripley is a star. She is really good.
Yeah.
In ring and like as an in-ring technician, she is awesome. I think she hit a missile drop kick from the top rope, and I was like, that was clean as fuck. I was like, that was really good. And she's a good wrestler, man. She's really good, and she's a star. And I think that they're bummed that happened because they would have loved to continue with her, and I think they will. I think they'll be.
Right.
I'm hoping that this stays. I hope that this continues as a rivalry, but
Yeah.
I believe that she'll get it back at some point. But
I hope so. If not, maybe a main roster push, but who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. So and then the match we talked about earlier, we won't spend too much time on this one just because it was kind of pointless. But Aleister Black defeated Bobby Lashley. Got it. And then so Aleister Black defeated Bobby Lashley. It was kind of funny because you can start to see the threads of Bobby Lashley and Lana unraveling.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you saw that whole match, but pretty much the reason why Bobby Lashley lost the match was Lana, because he picked her up. He picked Aleister Black up and was about to do something, and then Lana was screaming, "No, spear, spear!" And so he put Aleister Black down, and then when he put Aleister Black down and went for the spear, that's when he caught him with Black Mass.
Right. Yeah. That is like you said, the wheels are falling off that.
Yeah.
I was asleep during that match. That match didn't do it for me.
Well, because on Raw, and when this is on Raw last night, they were interviewing Bobby Lashley, and it was just Bobby Lashley, and then she was saying, the person who was interviewing him was like, "How are you going to recover from this loss?" Blah blah blah, and Bobby Lashley said, "I think I need a new manager," and then he stopped, paused, and he was like, "And a new wife." And then Lana came walking up, and she was like, "What are you talking about?" And he was like, "Nothing," and then like walked away. So I think they're gonna.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing though, because I think that Lashley does need someone to be with him.
Yeah.
Like I think he's not great on the mic, I guess. At least we haven't seen it, and I don't think he is. I mean,
no.
Bland dude. So like, they had Leo Rush with him, and he was big then. And now you have Lana with him. I think you put somebody like a Leo Rush, like a guy like a Paul Heyman type advocate. That you put him with Lashley. I think Lashley does well. I hate the fact that Lashley's losing matches. I fucking hate it.
I dude, that whole situation, the whole cuck situation with Rusev, man, that's like, I'm like, this is so weird. Like, they need to do something big to redeem the Bobby Lashley situation, because that situation with Rusev and Lana was just weird.
Yeah.
So I think he has so much. I think he has so much potential. I think they could do a lot with him, but they chose to put him in like the weirdest situation.
Yeah, like, and even, I mean, I just think situations in general, because like that was such a weird situation, like to everybody. And then you put him in that situation where he has to put over Ricochet to then get squashed to Brock. That's not a good look. And then you have him, and granted their story, like them being able to push Bobby and Aleister storyline got kind of halted, but and then you have him lose to like your big star in Aleister Black. Like, I don't like it. Maybe they just see that Apollo Crews is a younger Bobby Lashley, and they're just throwing him in there and saying,
that was kind of funny. I was like, well, he basically, I mean, does Aleister Black even know the difference between the two guys he's wrestling?
Nah,
because it was the same look, same guy. Like,
he just grew out a beard. Same guy, though.
Same guy. I was like, this is kind of weird, but yeah. But I was pumped to see Apollo Crews back, because I love Apollo Crews.
That's your boy, bro. You love his. I know. The first time we ever met you, we talked about Apollo Crews.
Yeah, his intro song is like
my
favorite. But so Yeah, that was yeah. And then my Wrestlemania
Yeah,
personal
baby.
favorite was Otis defeating Dolph Ziggler, and Otis gets his girl. Um, yeah, it was a fun. It was like a. It was like the match I was looking forward to the most, just to see what happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Were you surprised? Like, did you think that was gonna happen? Like, Manny was gonna come in and because I'll be honest with you, I thought exactly what happened was gonna
yeah,
happen.
yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
I thought after what they showed on SmackDown the night before with Otis and Mandy Rose kind of finding out what happened with Sonya Deville and Dolph Ziggler. Um, I think I knew something like that was coming. I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to happen. I
Yeah.
didn't realize Sonya Deville was going to come out with Dolph Ziggler.
I
So
know that's interesting. You think that
that was
that keeps
bizarre.
going?
Eh, I think for this situation, it keeps going, but I don't. I think this situation is over with. So
Yeah. Yeah,
I
your
don't.
your guy Otis, man, getting the girl.
Yeah, I wore my Heavy Machinery shirt, man. It was
Yeah,
good luck. Yeah. So, um, and then that was great. That was excellent. My favorite part was when they were walking out and he was carrying her and he was going, "She's so pretty. She's so pretty." It was so funny. That was great. Um, I have the picture of Otis and Mandy Rose with their arms raised as the background on my phone. So.
I love that, bro. I even texted you. I even
Yeah,
texted you. I was like, is that gonna be your new background? But hey,
it is.
real quick, while we're talking about Otis,
It is.
do you think that this is Otis's time? Do you think he's gonna get pushed as a singles guy? And do you think that he can be a legit singles wrestler? I'm curious.
No, I don't. Like I said, I love Otis. Like he's like one of my favorites. I just love that guy. But um, I think the only reason he was getting I think I think he could, but I think he's got a great situation with Heavy Machinery with Tucker. So I don't know any reason why they would break that up. You know.
Yeah, no, I was just curious your thoughts.
No, I like I like that tag team. I don't want to see that tag team get broken up.
Right.
And Otis's thing is, I mean, him and Tucker are synonymous with each other, so I think he got a bit of a push with this whole situation with Ziggler and Mandy Rose, but this was like I don't think you go and put Otis like I don't think you go and feud him with somebody else or like
Right.
I think this was an isolated situation. And I don't really know what's next for Heavy Machinery, but I think that I would hate to see Heavy Machinery broken up for
Yeah,
sure.
I was just curious, man, because I do know that they just rolled with this Otis thing because he got a huge like people love him,
Yeah,
he's very over. So that's why I was just curious. Like I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
I know that he's beloved by a lot of people. And I was just curious your thoughts. I don't really have an opinion on it. I was just kind of that's your guy. So.
yeah. No, no. I like I said, I love Otis, and I mean I wouldn't complain about that, but I think the way for them to stay over would be for them to, like I said, be a tag team. I'd like to see them. I'd like to see their tag team. I'd like to see Heavy Machinery feud with another tag team.
Yeah, yeah, man.
So
That's like the only reason I'm kind of like, oh, I wish they push him singles. Is just because like they haven't done shit with the tag teams in a while. I mean, like they're kind of getting their gel, but they're kind of not at all. I mean, it's like
you know,
the tag team division is so forgotten about in WWE that it
yeah,
makes me mad. I love tag teams,
yeah.
man.
Well, I mean, where do they go after this with Miz and Morrison? Like, you know what I mean? So
It,
that's
everybody.
that's a viable option is for Heavy Machinery to feud with Miz and Morrison.
I think that's the move because aside of them, they've beaten everybody, and you kind of got two opposite ends of the spectrum with the Heavy Machinery and Miz and Morrison are polar opposites. I do like that move, maybe making them, but you gotta bring it, like bring that shit. Don't just put them in there with each other and have like Miz and Morrison get a win, and have Heavy Machinery get a win, and have them challenge for the titles. Like no, build that shit up because
Yeah,
there's potential there for both them. Miz and Morrison are hot right now. mean, Otis is hot right now. I could see that. Don't fuck it up though.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. And then, all right, so I told you earlier about a match that I was really bored, and Edge and Randy Orton's Last Man Standing match was so boring to me. I'm sorry, it was boring.
That's fair. I did something. I went and got food during that match or something. I know for a fact I didn't watch the whole match. It was kind of like I was doing something. I think it was just the pace, maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it the pace of it?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think they were very limited in what they could do because they could only do it in the Performance Center.
That's true.
And I was more distracted with what like what they were using to attack each other than I was like the storyline of the match.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was on our Twitter and I was tweeting like, I think one of the tweets I sent out was like, "Oh, that's weird. They have a chain link fence on the ceiling of a conference room." I was like, you know what I mean? So
Right.
I mean, like I said, it was like at first you're like, okay, let's see what happens here, and then it just got boring. Like I don't know. I was bored by it. I don't know. Yeah, that's my opinion. I was just bored by it. I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, I liked it compared to a lot of the other matches, but I wasn't in awe by it. I mean, I thought it was I just thought it was okay. I mean, it had its moments. It was really good, and it had its moments. It was really slow. Where I was like,
The best part of that match was the story they built around it.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I was glad that given the midst of all the Corona stuff that affected storylines, I was glad that storyline pretty much stayed intact for the most part. It was a great storyline, and glad Edge got the dub. It'll be interesting to see. He's definitely not going to be a regular. I can promise you that.
No,
be a
I don't think he will.
But it'll be interesting to see what his next move is. But
yeah, I don't think we see him for a while.
I think you're right. I think
so.
Yeah.
And then we mentioned in the last podcast that there were just like a few kind of like plug and play matches. I think Aleister Black and Bobby Lashley were a plug and play match. Although, Aleister Black needed, I think they're trying to push him, so he needed the FaceTime for that match. But another match that just got shuffled around so many times, the Street Profits defeated Angel Garza and Austin Theory to retain the Raw tag titles. I don't even remember that match, to be honest with you. I mean, I sat here and watched it, but I was just, I don't know.
I can tell you personally that I didn't watch that match.
Yeah. So Bianca Belair came out. Selena Vega got involved, and then Bianca Belair came out. And for those of you that don't know, Montez Ford, who is one half of the Street Profits, and Bianca Belair are married. So she came out, and then as soon as she came out, I was like, okay, I see what's happening here.
Yeah.
They're obviously making a push. They're bringing Bianca Belair up to the Raw main roster, and lo and behold, the next night she did. So she made her debut on Raw last night. But yeah, that match was good. I mean, it was cool to see Austin Theory because he's just such a talented wrestler. But I mean, other than that, that match was just kind of one of those matches that they had to throw in there because, I don't know.
Yeah, that match got a lot messed up, but yeah.
Yeah. So, and then the next match was the Fatal 5-Way between Bayley, Sasha Banks, Tamina, Naomi, and Lacey Evans. Yeah. I think it was. I don't know. I think it was weird that Bayley and Sasha Evans weren't the last two.
Sasha.
Was that weird to you?
Yeah.
I mean Sasha Banks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. It was. That match to me, I can't give an opinion on that match until I see how it plays out. In my head, I want to be like, because I think that a lot of people thought that that's when Shayna and Bayley would, break and have a feud. I'm almost glad that they didn't yet, but I want to see where it goes because I think it was too
Yeah.
obvious to make them break up then. I'm mad because I lost that's the match I lost the most money on. But anyway, but
Yeah.
I think that's like a time will tell if that was a good match or not. I was
Yeah.
bro. I thought that was going to be like a one person pins one person and it's over because they were hyping it up.
Yeah,
And
that's what I thought too.
because bro, they hyped that match up that like the champion doesn't need to be pinned for her to lose her title. So that's why I was thinking that it was like just a straight regular fatal 5-way. When Tamina got eliminated by everyone, I was like, well, I was confused. Were you not?
Yeah, a little bit. I picked it up before the match. I heard him say it's an elimination
Oh,
match. So I was like, so I heard the announcer say it's an elimination match. So I was thinking to myself, okay, so it's an elimination match. But I was talking to a friend about this the other day, and I was saying they could have built, if they hadn't made that an elimination match, they still built it because Sasha Banks was eliminated, and there was kind of like some controversy there. Bayley pushed Sasha Banks, which she basically pushed Sasha Banks into the women's right by Lacey Evans, which subsequently eliminated her. But I was saying they could have made that so much better if it were just were a straight fatal 5-way where the first one to pin somebody wins.
yeah.
Because what they could have, in my opinion, what they could have done was maybe Sasha is about to win, like Sasha's got the bank statement locked in, or like she's got a pin, or she just hit her finisher and she's got the pin, and then Bayley runs in and breaks it up.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I think they could have created such a little bit more intense heat between each other if they would have done it that way rather than do it the way they did it. But I mean, that's just my opinion. I think they could have.
I agree, bro. I think you're spot on. I just think time will tell, but I think I would have played it the way you're saying. Like, I think there's more options from there. But look, we'll see, bro. This could blossom into some really cool storyline, but who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, there's more intent there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Bayley has to physically break up a pin or a submission that was gonna get Sasha Banks the win. You know what I mean? As opposed to like, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to push you out of the way. Honest mistake.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's what I tweeted that when that happened. I went, oh, honest mistake, Sasha. Like, you know what I mean? So like, I think they could have created a much more intense rivalry because Sasha would now see Bayley's intent, like,
right.
and or vice versa. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
all I ask is that you don't put Lacey Evans in another title match against Bayley because I don't want to fucking see that shit ever again because they fought for the title like 55 times and I'm sick.
Yeah.
Like obviously it's not Lacey's time. We get it. Just let it rest.
Yeah. Yeah, and this rivalry with Bayley and Sasha is about to pick up. It's about to get grimy, so that'll be good.
I'm excited. Yeah.
So yeah, and then the one that we've all been talking about, the Firefly Funhouse match with Bray Wyatt and John Cena.
Yes.
My only problem with the Firefly Funhouse match and my only problem with this whole situation is, like, what are they gonna do with the Fiend now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think when we were texting about it, we had very opposite opinions. And I think that came from me just like looking at the result of the match differently. Like, I think I was more upset that, like, it didn't seem like the Fiend really got his revenge, so to speak, that, like, he was really, like, searching for. I could be wrong. That's just the way I interpret it. But I also, like, also didn't understand where you, like you said, where you go from here with the Fiend. And I also, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought there was gonna be like a new Wyatt family almost.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think my expectations were just not where it was. Not to say that it wasn't like gold from a creative standpoint, because I do think it was. I just don't think I just think my expectations weren't met, and from a does that make sense? I mean,
sure.
Yeah, but that's I think what it came down to. The reason I was upset with the way that went down. But I'm
Yeah.
curious your thoughts. I mean, there is obviously like so much creative things to dive
Yeah.
into. But go ahead. I want you to take it away. Just tell me what you thought.
Yeah, no, I see that. I loved it. I loved everything about it. I think that he did get that revenge because he put John Cena like through the ringer.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
that's a good point. And that's why I was like hesitant if that's what I would meant or not. But
yeah. Well, because he brought John Cena into the beginning of his career when he came out and confronted Kurt Angle with the ruthless aggression thing.
right.
And that was at a point in John Cena's career when he was about to get cut. So like I said, it just really like tore through John Cena's emotions and like brought, like I said, put him through the ringer of his
That's a good
career and
point.
like all the disappointments and upset and like things in his career. And how like I can't remember what I was reading an article earlier, but they were saying like how it brought John Cena to a point where um, his career could have been elevated so much more if he would have taken some risks. So
Right.
like he was about to get cut, and then I don't know if you caught this, but I caught it the second time I watched it. Um, that part in the ring when John Cena is going ruthless aggression and he's like swinging and missing. There was one part where Bray Wyatt goes, "You can look, but you can't touch." And I don't know if you caught that, but "You can look, but you can't touch" is the first line of the Bella Twins of Nikki Bella's entrance music,
Oh,
which
damn.
is funny because John Cena famously had a rocky relationship with Nikki Bella. So I thought that was funny that he allowed them to do that because, I mean, I know that was like a legit personal thing. So I was like, man, that's pretty intense that they let him do that. That he
It's
let them
pretty
do that.
intense. It's pretty intense that they let him do a lot of what they did. And I heard a
Yeah,
lot of the stuff was Bray was
yeah,
Fiend's creative
yeah,
control. So, but yeah,
yeah,
keep going along. I want you to kind of break it down,
yeah,
and I want to understand where your
yeah,
thought.
yeah. So the ruthless aggression part, I'm gonna try and do my best to remember all parts of the segment. But so the ruthless aggression part was the part where John Cena in the beginning of his career, when he was kind of just searching for who he wanted to be in as an entertainer and as a wrestler, and he was at a point where he almost got cut from the WWE. And then I think the next segment was the Johnny Large Meat portion, which was hilarious. And that was an area of John Cena's career when he was just getting pushed because he was big. He had big muscles, and they wanted him. He had a persona that they wanted, but he wasn't necessarily the wrestler that they wanted him to be yet. So that was another part of his career that was kind of tumultuous because he was just getting a push because he had big muscles. And because if you saw in the video, he's like just lifting those dumbbells. He's like going until he can't go anymore. And he's just like, you know what I mean? Which was, like I said, a symbolic thing for his career at the time. And then the next one was a montage of that was wild. That was really crazy. Was seeing them put the WCW
That
Nitro
was
thing on.
freaking crazy. There's so
That was
much that
wild.
they did that I was so surprised. Like I
Yeah,
almost like didn't know what I was watching, bro. It felt like a
yeah,
dream.
yeah. Um, and then so the WCW thing when he came out as the N and he was wearing an NWO shirt. That was a nod to when Hulk Hogan joined the NWO. And because Hulk Hogan was like this, and so Hulk Hogan was like this: eat your Wheaties, take your vitamins, like all American good guy, which is basically what John Cena was. He was just a 2000s version of Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Same message. Hustle, loyalty, respect. All that stuff. And that whole thing was, um, they briefly talked about John Cena turning heel. And that was the same thing that happened with Hulk Hogan when Hulk Hogan went to WCW and came and made his debut. And he didn't make his debut in WCW as a heel, but when the NWO started, Hulk Hogan was the leader of that faction, and he turned like major heel, like big time heel. And so that was like a nod to that part of John Cena's career, where again he could have taken a risk and become a heel, but he didn't want to.
Right.
So they allowed him to continue. So that was just kind of that situation. And then I'm trying to think of what else happened from there. And then he did like the whole rapper thing.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and then I'm still trying to unpack that part a little bit. I know that was a part of his career that was, I mean, still pretty successful. I'm not sure where the symbolism of that was, but yeah. And then they flash back to that was, I loved that. That was one of my favorite scenes, was when they flash back to Bray Wyatt as Bray Wyatt with the hat,
Yeah.
when he's sitting on the rocking chair.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite scenes, because that was a cool cinematic shot. B, that was creepy. It was really creepy. Like, I miss the one of the things I miss about the old Bray Wyatt was just how creepy he was very like hypnotizing when he talked. You know what I mean? Like he's just a good talker. Like we said, Kevin Owens is really good on the mic earlier, but Bray Wyatt is so good too. I mean, he just, the way he formulates what he's trying to say is amazing. And I think there was one part that gave me chills when he was like, Abigail spoke of this day. I was like, ooh.
So that's what I was thinking that was going to happen, is like, I was expecting someone to come be Sister Abigail.
Yeah.
And start a new faction with Sister Abigail. And I
Okay.
thought that like Bo Dallas, his brother, was going to be thrust into like someone else.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
yeah. But I just like the Fiend so damn much that I don't want to see that go away. You know what I mean?
fair.
I want to see them build something great with him. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, because Braun Strowman debuted as a member of the Wyatt family.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting if they did like another kind of thing like that with Braun Strowman. But we'll see. But I loved it. I thought the Firefly Funhouse thing was amazing. It's cool. He like kind of, like I said, I think he got his revenge because he like kind of drudged John Cena through the mud of
That's
like all
fair.
the shit in his career. You know what I mean?
No, that's totally fair. It's cool to see your perspective on it. I get it now. You know, I think it just literally came down to like me looking at what's next, and then me also just my expectations being different than what they were. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. It was cool. I loved it. I
Yeah.
loved it. I loved it. I loved it. And that was funny because the people on Instagram were like, or people on Twitter were like, what the fuck is happening right now? And I was just sitting here like, I don't care what's happening. This is awesome. You know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah. And then I was just pissed. I love the Firefly Funhouse, obviously. And then I told you, I was like, they went from some of the most creative writing they've ever done to another. Just the two title matches were identical.
They were the same, dude. It drives me freaking crazy, bro.
Yeah, they were identical. I couldn't, when it started, you're like, okay, I can see what's about to happen.
Yeah, the
And you're
writing was
just
on the
like,
wall after that first F5.
yeah, you're just like, not again.
Dude, I mean, yeah, and I texted you this, but here's the reason I hate that shit. I hate Goldberg coming out and doing 3 spears, because then it's like the spear's nothing. The spear's a clothesline. And I hate 3 F5s, because then no one kicks out of the F5. Period. No one kicks out of the Claymore. Period. That's what makes those finishers so special.
Yeah.
And the fact that you devalue them by kicking out of 3, he kicked out of an F5. No one kicks out of an F5, first of all. He kicked out of an F5 at 1.
Yeah.
That's basically like a freaking clothesline. Big
Yeah.
Show the other day. He kicked out a Big Show's shit the other day of like a punch at one, like a
Yeah.
clothesline at one. You know,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. I hate when they do
Yeah.
that. I hate when
Oh.
you can't devalue people's finishers, especially no one's ever kicked out of Claymore, and I don't. Maybe like one or two people have kicked out of the F5, but like you can't do
Yeah.
that shit, man.
Well, and it's like here's my thing. Like, okay, they're trying to paint this picture that Drew McIntyre is so tough. He's like so tough. He kicked out of the F5 at one.
Right.
So how about this? Just have a really fucking gritty, tough match.
Yeah.
And have him kick out when he's exhausted, and then, you know, and then have him kick out of one F5. Not like
Right.
like at the end of the match when they've already had like a crazy physical match, and then have him win with a Claymore. Like I don't get that. Like I don't get like 3 F5s in a row. Oh, he kicks out of all of them. Then there's one small turn of the tide, 5 Claymores in a row, and then he wins. I don't understand the philosophy behind that kind of match, especially that kind of match for the title.
Bro, you're spot on. It proves nothing. It, like you said, it does nothing for Drew McIntyre's toughness. Fuck. Like,
Yeah.
dude, all it shows is that, like, and all it shows is that F5 is the same as a fucking clothesline. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't show that McIntyre is tough. Like, exactly what you said would have been best case scenario. A grueling match, and he's beaten to shit, and an F5 hits, and he kicks out. Then I'm like,
Yeah.
shit, McIntyre is legit. Now, anytime I see an F5, I'm going to be like, bro, he might as well have clotheslined him. It's bullshit. Now, every time I see a Claymore, I'm going to be like, oh, it's just like same as a freaking front kick. Like, it's just like you can't do that. Like, it drives me crazy, man. It's like, it seems like common sense, man.
Yeah. That was WrestleMania. Let's stop talking about this before we both burst blood.
I know, man. I get so hot about this shit. I don't know why. I don't get hot about a lot, but this stuff, some of that stuff bothers me. But
well, listen, man, we invest a lot in this shit. Like, we spend our time doing a podcast, we spend our nights watching it, and we want like value out of it. And when they feed us that crap, it's like upsetting. So I mean, we definitely have a reason to be upset about it. But overall, I mean, for what it's worth, and we're like, for me to rank WrestleMania, you have to consider all things, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I give WrestleMania like a B minus. Yeah.
Sorry, it's cutting out a little bit. I heard the B minus. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I can hear you.
All right. So what are you saying after the B minus?
Yeah, no, I just give it a B minus. I give it a B minus just because it was by no stretch of the imagination an A, because I think, like you said, the two biggest matches were dog shit. Like, you know, so I think that brings the score way down.
Right.
But I mean, I think they did a good job building some storylines. They did a good job, putting an exclamation point on some storylines.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think B minus is totally fair. I think, yeah.
So all things considered, especially.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, if we're comparing it to last year's WrestleMania, it's a freaking F. But like, it's with all things. It's with all things considered, and I think they did a lot right. I mean, it's a tough situation. They did a lot right.
Yeah. So that was WrestleMania. What was your score?
Yeah, B minus. B minus.
Concurrence on the B minus.
Concurred.
Yeah. So, yeah. Hopefully, I mean, I know that Money in the Bank is like, I don't know if it's canceled, or if they're going to do it at the Performance Center. But I was also reading something that said WWE is going to continue to. They're going to continue to record events. I thought they were not allowed to, but I did read. So I'll have to double check it. But I thought I read something that said they were going to continue to record events. So
yeah, we'll see. I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong. Are they recorded up until this Friday? Is that when?
I think next week. I think next week's Monday and Friday are what they have. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. And then Raw, the follow up. I don't even know if I want to talk about Raw last night because
Nah,
it was just
let's skip it, to be honest.
yeah.
I mean, do you
So
want to
I'll
just give
go
like
through it.
briefly? I
Yeah.
don't think we need to talk about the
So
match necessarily. Just maybe like a thoughts.
yeah. So Asuka defeats Liv Morgan. The street. This was the big. This was by far the biggest noteworthy thing in that happened last night on Raw. So the Street Profits rematched Angel Garza and Austin Theory, and Zelina Vega interrupted, so she caused the DQ, and then Bianca Belair came out and debuted. So Bianca Belair came and beat up Zelina Vega, and then the the match became a six person tag team with Street Profits and Bianca Belair versus Zelina Vega, Angel Garza, and Austin Theory.
Yeah.
So there could be a bit of a cool storyline building there. I didn't know what they were gonna do with that, which I think it's cool that they kind of turned that into a little bit of a thing. So I think that could be awesome going forward. That whole like Street Profits and Bianca Belair and Zelina Vega and
I agree. Yeah.
so
I,
they kind of
yeah. I guess I mean, was there anything up until the KO stuff? I kind of do want to get your thoughts on what you think's next for KO. Was there anything up in from that 6 man match or 6 person match to the KO that you wanted to touch on, or did you want to just get right into KO?
No, we'll get right into KO. Oh well, I mean, Aleister Black and Apollo Crews had a great match too. That was
Good
probably
match.
the best. That was probably the best part of that, and it was a long match too,
It was really long. It
which
was like
is
a three
crazy.
commercial match, bro.
Yeah. So, but it was a good match.
Yeah.
Aleister Black defeated Apollo Crews. So, which is good. It's good to see. Again, it was good to see Apollo Crews back because that guy's awesome.
He's good, man.
And then uh, Ricochet and Cedric Alexander defeated Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch, who are two NXT UK guys. Again, it was like a bunch of squash matches, which was weird.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins defeated Denzel Desjardins. And then I guess the other big thing that happened was Nia Jax came back. Nia Jax returned.
Yeah, I did want you to talk about that. You're a big Nia Jax fan.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, I really like Nia Jax. I'm super glad she's back. I do think it was weird that they brought Deonna Purrazzo on. I think they could have done that with somebody else, especially since Deonna Purrazzo is like getting a little bit of a push in NXT. And so I'm not disagreeing with. I think they need. I think it was important for them to bring Nia Jax back, and I think it was important for them to bring Nia Jax back and have her make a statement against somebody. But it was just weird that they did it against someone that they're trying to push in NXT. But no, I'm glad she's back. I think she adds like another dynamic to the women's division. I think she's with the Raw brand, right? If I'm correct.
Yeah, I think so. Unless they change it, but as of now.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't really know where they're gonna go with her as of right now, just because I think, like we said earlier, the feud with Becky and Shayna continues. So we'll see where they go with that. But I'm happy she's back. I like watching her perform, and I got a little thing for her. So, but yeah, so that was good. So that was Raw. Humberto Carrillo defeated Brendan Vink, who is another NXT guy. And then the last thing for Raw last night, we'll just talk about it briefly again. So the last thing for Raw was so I guess they did this as that it happened after WrestleMania went off the air last night. They like kind of showed what happened after WrestleMania went off the air. Like this wasn't like actually Raw. This was like like the Big Show just comes out of fucking nowhere and brings a ref with him and challenges Drew McIntyre for the title, and then they have like a crazy match, like Drew McIntyre's getting the shit kicked out of him by Big Show, and then he claymores him, and then that's it. So
That
it was
yeah. It was just
that
strange.
just made no sense.
It made no sense.
Yeah, it just made no sense. But yeah. So that's all I'll say about that. It was funny because I was sitting here with my dad. We were watching it, and Drew McIntyre said like, "Oh, I went ahead and like got the plates changed," and I was like, "Okay, if you guys are gonna tell us this was 20 minutes after he won, how did he get the plates changed that quick?" Like, I
Yeah,
just thought that was like funny because he
bro. Yeah, he's like, I
would
didn't
you
even
have
have
the
time. He's like, I didn't even have time to talk to anyone or call anyone, but I did have time to get the plates changed.
yeah. I was like, would you have those plates waiting for you in the back or something like they do it with like when the Super Bowl, like when they make both sets of T-shirts and
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
whoever wins, yeah. So, but yeah, I thought that was funny. Um, but yeah, so that was Raw. I guess what's this Tuesday night? So we got NXT tomorrow night
Which is
and AEW Dynamite.
so. Let's talk about the NXT tomorrow real quick. Is it the same takeover that they were gonna do the that Portland one? Like, I know it's not in Portland, but is it the same matches?
I'd have to look into it because I'm not sure. But are they doing the Tommaso Ciampa?
It's so all I
Tommaso
know is
Ciampa
that they
and
advertised NXT Takeover, and I know that the big women's six woman match is tomorrow. So I don't know. We got to look into that. I might.
yeah.
I'm not going to give them my viewing, but I'm more interested in NXT tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
But
Yeah,
hey,
because the
oh, you got
go
it.
ahead. Oh, I was just gonna say, because I think I'll probably be tuning into Dynamite tomorrow night and probably probably recording NXT just because
Right.
the 8-man tournament starts tomorrow night for the
True.
TNT Championship in AEW.
Yeah, I probably will too.
So we'll see what happens with that.
I did want to get your thoughts. Like, what do you think is next for KO? Where would you like to see him next? Because I know you
Oh,
had
true,
that
true.
promo. I know you had that promo.
Dude, I honestly I would love to see them. I'd love to see him make a run for one of the titles.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they're going to write that in, but I think his stock is hot right now for
Yeah.
sure, especially after that match at WrestleMania. So I don't know. I would love to see them write him into one of the title pictures. I know he's got a history with Sami Zayn, so that'd be interesting maybe if they put him in
True.
that situation. But the Daniel Bryan thing is still going, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
I'd love to see them write him into one of the title pictures. I mean, the U.S. title is still kind of stagnant because Andrade is doing whatever the hell he's doing. So,
Yeah.
um, I think he does. I think his stock is, like I said, I think his stock is hot. So it would be great to see him get pushed into a title picture somewhere.
Yeah. I honestly think, and I want to go back to the McIntyre thing real quick. I think they made a mistake putting the title on Drew. I really do. I think that, like, part of what Drew had going for him was the momentum, right? The
Yeah.
momentum of WrestleMania, riding like that kind of high off that. And what happens is with these no crowd things, all that's now dead. It's like, what does
Yeah.
Rock having the title right now makes so much more sense because McIntyre having the title, all that steam is going to die down. And all of a sudden, he's just like that heel who's kind of trying to be face, and it's kind of weird. And what's going to happen from there? It just makes a lot more sense to keep the title on Brock. And I think if they did keep the title on Brock, then KO would be primed to start like an awesome feud with Lesnar. But I mean, I know that's not a thing. I'm just saying, like, I think there's a lot more options with Lesnar still being champion. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I mean, I would like to see Kevin Owens make a run for one of the titles. So that's where I think I'd like to see him go. But,
Yeah, for sure. Agreed.
yeah. So, yep. And then so last week on AEW, well, the past week or so, AEW announced that they're going to be doing an 8-man single elimination title for a mid card title. that they're rolling out called the TNT Championship, and we'll just go through this briefly. Cool. Gotcha. So yeah, so sorry, I'm like having a brain fart. The tournament will be Cody versus Shawn Spears, Kip Sabian versus Dustin Rhodes, Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara, and Lance Archer versus Colt Cabana. So
Yeah, this is interesting.
that should be really really interesting.
I'm excited for that.
I would. I know. I mean, Darby Allin's my boy. I love Darby Allin. So I'd like to see him do well, but I think it's gonna be. Let's pick a final here.
Yeah, let's pick a
and a
final.
winner. So
Let's do it.
I got Cody. No, sorry. Let's go. No. Let's see. Okay, let's go Cody and Colt Cabana, and I got Colt Cabana winning the TNT championship.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Dude, I think I like Colt Cabana a lot. I think Colt Cabana is definitely someone who they could put a title on and have a good run with.
I gotta look at I'm pulling up the bracket now. I gotta look at both sides, but that's interesting. I think that I agree with you, bro. I do. I'm gonna have to disagree only because I just can't see Lance Archer losing. He just came in and he just obliterated Marco Stunt, and I just can't picture him losing.
No.
But I also can't picture him with a title. I don't think he's a title guy. So,
okay.
On that note, I'm still gonna say Lance Archer in the final against Cody, and then I don't know who I think wins that. I think Lance. I don't know, man. I don't think Lance is gonna win the title, but I also don't think he's gonna lose. So that's why I'm just gonna by default say Lance. I don't know, bro. It'll be interesting. I'm excited, man. But
that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I know we were talking. I personally and we talked about like how it might not make as much sense, but I thought it would be nice for them to have like a 16-man tournament.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about like maybe there wouldn't be enough talent. I think there would be. You put guys like Ella in there. They got some guys on the road. I mean, I'm speaking now. We talked about it, but like a Jungle Boy in there, someone on SCU. But it'll be good. I just think that a little more like suspense and be like, oh, like these big matches, like a bracket, almost like a March Madness style bracket.
Right.
Would have been a little cool.
Yeah, I looked into it, and there's definitely enough talent to do a 16-man. It would just, I think it would just depend on how many matches they could do in a night. So.
True, yeah. I think, like, for me, it just came down to, like, also you got to give those guys some exposure. Like, the guys like Kip Sabian who are going to get some exposure from this, but throw some more guys in there. But it'll be cool, man. It'll be fun. I'll be texting you all night tomorrow watching
it. Yeah, man. So, one of the other we had another great Kenny Omega match, so that continues to be a major storyline in AEW for sure. Is just the popularity and the rise of Kenny Omega. I'm kind of bummed. I know he's got one of the tag titles, but I wish he would. I mean, that'd be cool to put a title on him. But again, I think he's kind of like Cody in the situation, he's in the situation where he wants to put guys over, so he's trying to do that as much as he can, So
So I agree.
Yeah, because him and Trent had a really, really good match. So
good match, man.
Yeah, it was cool. And then we had another hilarious Jericho vignette with him trying to recruit Vanguard One.
That was too good.
Yeah, my favorite part is, and this has been all over social media, but when he says "release the hounds," and it's like a poodle and like a Pekingese and like not any attack dogs in that bunch by any stretch of the imagination. That was really fun.
It's so funny. It's like, bro, they can just come up with whatever they want and make it work, and they don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. They're just doing their own thing. Yeah. Like, it's cool.
I love Jericho. I've always said this. I love Jericho's like his terminology that he uses. Like his choice of vocabulary, because like when in the beginning he's sitting in his hot tub and he's like, "Oh, I'm just sitting here at my palatial abode." I'm like, that's so perfect. I'm like, that's hilarious. But yeah. So and then yeah, and then we talked about it briefly, but Marco Stunt and Lance Archer was
Oh,
just
dude.
I felt like I was watching something illegal.
Yeah.
So
I want to talk about it a little bit on
um
air though, because we didn't talk. We talked about it through text.
yeah,
Dude, that was.
yeah,
I was like this the whole time I was watching. I was like, I was just,
yeah,
ugh.
yeah. I don't think that I don't know, man. It's hard for me to decide. Like, I don't think him coming out and just slaughtering Marco Stunt did anything for him. I
Not,
mean,
not really.
you know what I mean?
No, because like he already
Especially because
did
he's
that. Like he did that with all those guys at the wrestling ring behind like Darby Allin's house. Like he did that already.
yeah,
Give him like a wrestler
yeah,
and prove that he can be like a wrestler, like a legit wrestler. Not sorry, Marco, but like
yeah. No, and then I think people know what you mean. Like,
yeah.
I mean, he's legit 2 feet taller than Marco Stunt. Like, I
Crazy.
mean, what's he 6? Is he 6'8" or something like that? So
6'7",
I
6".
don't know. It just wasn't like entertaining for me to watch. I'm like, he's just beating the fuck out of this poor guy. Like, you know, but I don't know. Hopefully they give him another match and it's against someone who will like. I mean, I actually wanted to see him wrestle. I don't think we got to see him wrestle when he,
Cole
just
Cabana and him would be
destroyed
good.
Marco. Yeah, yeah.
But it's like I
That's
say,
gonna be a
bro.
good
It's like
match.
there's weight classes for a reason in sports, and like I'm not gonna suspend my belief in like Marco Stunt versus Lance Archer. Like I'll suspend my belief like
Right.
to watch like two behemoths or two like a big guy and maybe like a medium sized guy go at it. But dude, like don't sell me that
Yeah.
bullshit. Don't. It
Yeah.
drives me crazy. It's like that's
Yeah.
not. There's got to be some sort of realism there. It's like a movie, dude.
Yeah.
You suspend your belief for a movie just as you do when you watch, pro wrestling to an extent. But it's like, don't like call me an idiot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but
Definitely.
that's like insulting is what I mean. Like, it's just
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know.
Sure. Well, like for me watching it, I'm like, why is this happening? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
And that's
why is this happening?
right. Like, and my mentality is
So
very
yeah,
much like that old school, like two heavyweight boxers, like, or two gladiators. Like, I want to watch larger than life stars, like Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, like fake fight, but like, you know
yeah,
what I mean? Like, it's like
yeah.
you know
No,
what I
I got you.
mean? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. So, but yeah. So that's yeah, I think that'll about wrap it up. New episode of Dark Side of the Ring was crazy. If you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and watch it. It's about a ECW star named New Jack who was a madman. So watch at your own discretion because there is like user discretion is advised. Let's put it that way. It's like or viewer discretion. Excuse me. Viewer discretion is advised because that guy was. And if you know anything about ECW, it was very brutal, very bloody,
Oh yeah.
and yeah. So it was a good one. And then another one for you guys to check out if you are looking for wrestling content. There's a show on Vice called The Wrestlers. It goes through a lot of different promotions around the world. There's one about an all women's wrestling association in Japan, and there's one with shows a bunch of different promotions with upcoming wrestlers that are actually. It's a little bit of an older show, but it's interesting to watch. It's about Drew McIntyre is one of the guys in it. Darby Allin is
Yeah.
covered in one of
Fun.
the episodes. So yeah, if you guys are looking for some wrestling content to watch in terms of shows and movies, that's another good one called The Wrestlers. So I watched all the episodes, so give that a check, give that a look. Yeah. So and then what's that?
I was gonna say, what are we thinking? Maybe hop on here Thursday or something.
Yeah, we can do Thursday.
'Cause there's
We'll
still a
have
lot.
another podcast definitely this week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Still a lot to talk about, and there will be,
yeah.
with everything going on tomorrow, there will still be a lot more. So
Yeah. So yeah, tomorrow will give us a lot of good rap content to throw out there. So, yeah. So we're doing our best, guys, to get it out there. Tough times right now, obviously. With we are on a Zoom call right now, so we're trying to do our best to abide by the social distancing
yeah.
stuff that they're putting out there. And just yeah. Um, so I guess we'll wrap this baby up with our final question of the evening. Um, so the question of the wrap up question we're gonna do tonight is your favorite walkout or your favorite entrance. Um, so yeah, so Tommy, take it away.
I'm gonna default to you. It'll give me some time to kind of brainstorm,
Okay.
just because you posed it. So I think, well, I'll let you go first. I'll yeah, and then I'll follow along.
That's fair. Yeah, mine is Batista.
He's on my. He's definitely on my top 5. But yeah,
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah,
Like,
Batista is my favorite. Yeah, his pyro is like my favorite when he has like when Batista has like his actual pyro. Like, sometimes it's in like a smaller arena and they can't do the pyro, but like
yeah,
his is he does like this machine gun. Like he
I love
pretends like he's got like a big machine gun and he just like and the pyro just follows him. So that's a good one. And then one of my favorite ones, and this is an honorable mention, my other favorite is Shawn Michaels. So this is
that.
old.
Are you serious, bro? These are literally like the 2 that I'm thinking of. That's hilarious.
So yeah, hey man, hey, we can concur. We can concur on the question. It's no
I'll think of another one, but Michael's
no
was
big
probably
deal
the
on a
one I was.
concurrence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd do like the flex and like the bend, and then like the pyro would go bam, 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 bam in a row behind him. So that was always a good one.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll
But,
mix it up then. I think Michaels and Batista are for sure in my top 5. I'm gonna say Edge though, dude. Like, here's the thing. I think like the beginning
yeah,
of the entrance is everything. Like when that first 2 seconds hits, like it has to be electric. And I think that on this day,
yeah,
and that comes out, and then obviously like when he goes like that, and the fireworks hit,
yeah,
it's pretty fucking electric, dude. Like this singing about like
yeah,
the Royal Rumble one got me goosebumps. Honorable mention
yeah,
Brock Lesnar, dude, because just when that like
yeah,
when that hits, man, you're just like
yeah,
shit's about to go down. Because this man, like, you don't hear
yeah,
that music hit that often. He comes on big stages.
yeah, yeah.
So I mean,
One thing,
yeah,
yeah. Well, I think one thing about edges too is so that wasn't always his music, obviously, and I think it's cool what Edge has done with his entrance music because that beginning part of his entrance music, so that's an actual like his music now is an actual song by a band called Alter Bridge, and then the beginning of that song, the beginning of his physical entrance music though, is the beginning of his old song when it goes, "You think you know me," and then it just like goes into the song. So like I think it's cool that he kept that beginning, like it's like you think you know me, da,
yeah,
da, 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 on this day.
yeah.
Like I think it's cool that he kept the original part of his original music and then just added it
That's a good
to
point.
his current
Yeah,
music. Yeah, so I think that's a special one because that's really cool.
yeah.
That he does that. So yeah, but and then I'm trying to think of what I had one more, but I forgot. So we can wrap up with that because I forgot. But and I mean like I think Triple H like
Yeah.
time to play the game. Like I think those are all like really iconic, and The Rock obviously. Like if we're talking about getting a crowd pop out of a song, and then my other one was The Big Show. Like that one, The Big Show's has gotten a pop for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Well, it's the big yeah. So yeah, I mean they're all really great, but my favorite is Batista though.
No, that was a
So
good. That was a
when
good.
guitar riff hits, man, it's on. So yeah.
I still work out to Batista's song is one of my favorites to work out to. I walk on. So, it's a good one.
Yeah, for sure. So, but yeah, so that's all from us tonight. Thanks for tuning in, folks.
Go ahead and plug our shit real quick. Where can they find us?
Yeah. So they can find us on Turning Face Pod on Instagram and Twitter. I've been mad active on Twitter lately, so keep an eye out for that. I've been, posting a lot on Twitter, posting content, posting stupid shit that comes to my brain. So, so find us there, and then we're also on YouTube, Turning Face Podcast, where we'll hit some clips. Tom, we've been getting some good. We've been getting a lot of views. Yeah, I think we're at like our. Yeah, I mean, I think we're at like 60 or 70 views for a couple of our videos. So
that's fucking
check us out if you don't want to sit here and listen to us talk for 2 hours, hour and a half. Check us out on YouTube. Give us 3 or 4 minutes of your time. We appreciate it. Give us a like, 5 stars, whatever the
all that shit.
whatever the approval system is for where you're listening to us. So.
But seriously, on YouTube, like the video, because if you like the video, then YouTube is more likely to put our shit like out. Like, so likes are important on YouTube. I don't know about the other shit, but like our videos.
So yeah. But that's all for us. We will see you guys again this week. Stay safe out there, folks. Stay healthy, and we'll get through this together. So as always, I'm Drew. It's Tommy. We're Turning Face Podcast. Thanks for listening, guys.
Oh yeah.